So we finally got some Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 news, and this time it's not just speculation, it's not just theory, we actually have a concrete update from the developers about Chapter 3, including a release date for the next trailer. So of course, I'm going to go through it all, give my opinions, give my theories, and have a little bit of a discussion about what we can see in this brand new image. We also got an audio file as well, and I'll be talking about that later on in the video. So if you're not on all the social medias, you might have missed this one. Mob have shared this new image, which in itself has so many details that I want to talk about and theorize over. But this image is a teaser to the teaser trailer, if you will, a pre-teaser. But this is telling us when the next Chapter 3 trailer is coming. So on the 26th of June, and yes, this date hurts my British brain, we'll be getting a teaser trailer for Chapter 3. Now that's already interesting because we've already had a Chapter 3 teaser trailer, and that one was over a year ago now. It was quite some time ago that we got the gas mask trailer. So we are getting another one before the release of the official trailer and obviously the chapter, which is pretty cool, give me more content. And I will of course be making a reaction video to that, and I'll also, if it's interesting enough, which I'm sure it will be, I will also do a deep dive and an analysis on that trailer. So if you want to make sure you don't miss all that, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all that YouTube rubbish. But yeah, this date or this announcement was accompanied by both an image and an audio file. Now this image has so many interesting details in that I want to talk about. Now the first thing I want to talk about is the Huggy. Now this part of the image is the full version of this that we had the other day. Now if you remember in my last video, we had a bunch of snippets of images that we were given to theorize over, and I gave my thoughts on this one. I was half right, half wrong, we'll come on to that. But we had these snippets of these images that we could theorize over, and we were told that they were going to be revealed in full, starting with this one. Now, this is obviously the full version of that image, and we can see that it was very different to what a lot of people were saying. But I do believe that the other images, I don't think we're going to get those revealed until the trailer. In fact, I think those were snippets or still frames from the trailer. And I did say that they had this weird found footage vibe to them. So I'm expecting that we're going to get those images revealed fully in the trailer. So we'll see. It's a week away, so we'll see. But this part here, I did, if you remember in my last video, I did say that a couple of things. I said, one, it looked organic. It looked like it could be fur or some sort of flower or something like that. And two, I even said it could even be Huggy's fur. Now, that was kind of a lucky guess. I did say that I think Mob have been hinting for a while now that we're going to see Huggy again. And once again, they're using a Huggy Wuggy in this image for the marketing of the game. Now, I do think this is a small Huggy. If you look at the tiles below him, you can see that the tiles that we see all around the factory, they're pretty small. So I do think this is a small Huggy, but still, they're using Huggy once again. They constantly reference him. They're constantly using him. It would seem very silly not to see Huggy in the game again, or the main game again. It's entirely possible that they're just using him because he is the face of the game. He's probably the most iconic, even more so than Poppy, I would say. I think he is the most iconic toy. He's the one that most people think of when they think of Poppy Playtime, so it makes sense for them to use it. But at the same time, it is interesting that we are once again seeing a Huggy. Now, this is already interesting because if you remember back to the Chapter 2 trailer, we also saw Mommy Longlegs dragging a Huggy across the floor. It seems like whatever this creature is, that I'll talk about in a minute, seems to be doing this in a much more violent and a much more scary way, but still, the parallel is there. It seems like every chapter antagonist seems to bully the mini Huggies for some reason, and they always seem to have a little smile on their face when it's happening, which I thought was a cute little detail. But anyway, now that we've got the full image, we can see that what kind of looks like his innards, his stuffing, which would make sense. Most dolls are full of stuffing, so that makes it complete sense. But what makes less sense is the fact of that this stuffing is covered in blood. Now, the idea that there is blood here could make sense. These dolls, a lot of them are living, and we have seen confirmation now that some of the small Huggies were living. They were able to move, and most things that are able to move, or that are living anyway, must have some sort of cardiovascular system. And we saw that in this Bron trailer. We saw that there's a strong hint to that these dolls do have a cardiovascular system. They do have blood, which probably means that they do need to eat to keep, that stuff going. It's interesting to see that we can actually see this stuffing still, because stuffing is something you would expect in a doll, not a living creature. But again, these dolls are half living, half doll. And I think that the stuffing is representing what would be their flesh. And of course, below that, they probably have some sort of animatronic style skeleton. I would imagine, who knows at this point. But yeah, this Huggy has been absolutely savaged by this creature. Now this creature, there is so much that you could theorize over with this creature. Now this creature is most likely going to be at least one of the antagonists from chapter 3. If you remember back to the live stream, the devs did hint that there was going to be multiple new characters that we're going to meet in chapter 3. Again, chapter 3 seems like it's going to be longer. We're going to meet multiple characters, which in my brain says we're going to meet multiple antagonists. I doubt many of them are going to be friendly. So this could just be one of the antagonists, or it could be the main one. We don't know at this point. But everybody has been debating about what exactly this creature is. Now, my first instinct was that this does look like a bird's talons or a bird's claws. Now, one of the main and one of the most popular theories lately in the last few weeks or months is that the chapter 3 antagonist is going to be some sort of bird-like creature. Most of this theory came from the idea that we saw the egg in the Bonzo comic, but there's been a lot of speculation that we're going to see some type of bird-like creature. Now, that could 100% be true. And this does, in my opinion, look at first glance like a bird's talon. So that could be a big confirmation, a big hint. Yes, there's going to be some type of bird enemy. But I actually think it's more complicated than that. I actually think there are several different suggestions here of what it could be. And I think that we are all jumping to conclusions on this one, which is totally fine. We all do it. It's fun. It's part of the theory making. But I want to just give you some of the possibilities of what this could be, because I think there's a lot of things you might not have thought about, a lot of things you might be overlooking. So as I said, the first thought that I had was that this is some sort of bird. These do look like talons. They do look like very sharp talons. You can even see what looks like the little bird thumb over here. But at the same time, something very interesting about that is the leg is furry. It has fur on it. And generally speaking, bird legs, especially at the bottom, especially near the claws, or the talons, sorry, they don't have fur. So you could be saying, well, it can't be a bird then. But what makes this even more complicated is it still could be a bird, because we have to remember that this is a toy. They're all toys. And at the end of the day, most plush toys are furry, whether the animal that they're representing are furry or not. So we can't say that because it's furry that it isn't a bird, but we also can't say that it is, because I also have some very strong evidence that this isn't a bird. We'll come on to that. But this absolutely could be a bird. That is possibility number one. And some people have even said, if you zoom in on the claw here, that, you know, this looks like a bird, which it kind of does, but I don't know if that's just reflection or if that does mean something. But there are other possibilities here too. The second possibility is that this could be a dinosaur. Now, hear me out. I have a number of reasons why I think this could be a dinosaur, but hear me out. The first reason is obviously birds have talons, but birds evolved from dinosaurs, and dinosaurs often have very similar claws to birds. This could be a dinosaur claw, or it could be a bird's talon. It could be either one. But the reason why I personally believe that this is a dinosaur more than a bird is what's actually happening in this image. Now, if you look at this image, you can see the Huggy, which, oh, I forgot. Yes. If you brighten up the image, there is a hidden message. We'll come to that in a minute. Just stick with me, okay? We'll come to that in a minute. But this creature seems to be dragging the Huggy across the floor. And the reason why I think that is if you look at these 3 scratch marks, they line up exactly with these 3 claws here. So it looks like whatever it is strong enough to not only rip open this Huggy, but also drag it across the floor. Now that doesn't seem like a really bird-like behavior. There are plenty of predatory birds out there, and this is definitely a predatory animal, by the way, with claws like that, 100%. There are plenty of predatory birds out there, but they don't generally drag things across the floor like that. They don't really have the force to do that. They generally swoop down and they sort of lunge and attack, right? But they don't really drag things. So whatever it is incredibly powerful, incredibly threatening and scary, in my opinion. But it's using force to drag Huggy across the floor, which sounds way more like a dinosaur behavior to me. Now, again, you could say, well, you know, dinosaurs aren't furry, but again, a dinosaur plushie could be. And we've seen that Bron is made out of like a plastic sort of material, but I even have a potential theory for that too. In fact, I think Bron could even be in this image as well. Now, the reason why I think this is a dinosaur as well is because I believe that the playcare is going to have a theme. I think the playcare, which is the area where the younger orphans were kept, is going to have a theme of younger toys. And I said this all the way back in chapter 2. I said that if you look at, for example, Mommy Longlegs was in the area where the older orphans were being experimented on. I highly doubt that Playtime Co. were conducting experiments on toddlers, right? So the ones in the game station were likely the older ones, and they had a Mommy Longlegs toy, Mommy Longlegs, who was highly inspired by Betty Spaghetti, in my opinion, and seems to, fit that theme of more of an older child, or maybe like a really young teenager kind of age. And that made a lot of sense. Now, I suggested a long time ago that in the play care, where the younger orphans are, the toys are going to be tailored to that. They're going to be younger. And what do kids love? Pretty much every kid I know loves dinosaurs, right? That's why I've said many times before, I think we're going to see a living Bron in the play care. But further on, if you go along with this theme, if you think about it for a moment, who says there's only one dinosaur? In fact, Bron himself says that he's the scariest dinosaur, which implies that there are other ones. And again, there could be hundreds of unreleased toys that we've not seen yet, but this definitely could be a carnivorous dinosaur, like a T-Rex, something that would have enough strength in its legs to drag Huggy along the floor like this. So if you want to get really crazy with this theory, it's also got purple fur. And I don't know about you, but I can't think of a single purple dinosaur that could be an inspiration. Oh wait, Barney the dinosaur. Listen, might sound crazy, but just like in chapter 2 with Mommy Longlegs being inspired by Betty Spaghetti, there's a good chance that this dinosaur is inspired by Barney the dinosaur. I'm just saying, Bron's a herbivore, right? Just saying it's entirely possible. Now, what makes this even more appealing or more of a fun theory, again, I'm not saying it's correct, but what makes it even more of a fun theory is I think Bron might also be in this image too. Now, if you look at this part, which looks like it's gas, it looks like there are lights in the gas, which I also think is going to be a reference to the gameplay of chapter 3. But if you look at this part, this could be Bron. Now, I don't believe these two parts are the same creature. It seems like a weird angle for the eyes to be so low and the claw to be here. I mean, it would be a massive creature if that was the case, but I actually think these are two separate creatures. I think we have the purple dinosaur or bird or whatever it is, and then I think this creature in the background that's lurking is watching this happen. I think this is a completely different creature, and it's a good possibility that this is Bron. Hear me out. Now, this part, I think, is a reference to the gas part that we saw in the last ARG teaser. And a few people in that video says this looks like it could be Bron with the long neck coming all the way around the TV. Now, this would kind of answer the question that a lot of people have had, which is how would they make Bron scary? I tell you how they make Bron scary. They make the rooms full of gas, they make the visibility super low, and they make him stalk you, right? He stalks you, he's looking for you, and if he catches you, he's going to get you. I actually think this is going to be the key mechanic in chapter 3. I think there's going to be areas that are super low visibility, maybe full of gas, maybe completely dark. And that also begs the question, by the way, that Bron could also be a figment of our imagination. We've talked before that the gas could have, you know, hallucinogenic properties, could make us see things that aren't there. So there could be elements of, you know, he's like a shadow creature. He doesn't really exist. Maybe we're just imagining him, but still, I think Bron is going to be this elusive, stalkerish kind of creature, while the other creatures are going to be far more aggressive and deadly. That's just my theory for now, but I do think that these eyes could belong to Bron, and this talon, this claw, could belong to somebody else. Now, as I said earlier, if you brighten up the image, you can see a hidden message, which is something very common among images that mobs send out. But if you brighten up this one, you can see rejoice in the hour of joy. Now, this is the second time in the run up to chapter 3 that we have heard about the hour of joy. If you remember back to Kissy Missy's VHS, in the train tunnel, we saw the hour of joy referenced on the wall. I think it said the hour of joy is at hand. Kind of funny now that we also see a hand. But anyway, this hour of joy, we speculated before, we've talked about it before. I don't want to go over the same theory again too much, but there's several possibilities of what this hour of joy could be. The hour of joy could be something in chapter 3. It could be a future event that we haven't experienced yet, or it could also be referencing the downfall of the factory. But the more that I see this, now that we've seen this twice, I believe the hour of joy is going to be referencing chapter 3. I think chapter 3 could even be called the hour of joy. That could be the title of chapter 3, or it could be something related to chapter 3. But it seems like the hour of joy is coming more than it's already happened. So I'm very interested to see what the hour of joy is. Maybe the hour of joy is 1006's current plan. He seems to have some sort of plan. He's collecting bodies for something. Again, maybe he's collecting bodies for the hour of joy. Again, we're all assuming that he's collecting those bodies for himself because mommy said, make me a part of him. But maybe that is the hour of joy. Maybe him becoming this, you know, giant toy full of dead creatures is his hour of joy. I don't know. But either way, I really do think that the hour of joy is something that's going to happen in the future. And I'm very excited to see what that is. On the subject of 1006, this could be 1006 as well. We've only seen so far his hand. We have no idea what the rest of him looks like. Even if he has the rest of him, who knows? We have no clue at this point. So this, again, could be 1006 looking at the Huggy. Maybe he's working with this creature. Maybe this creature is bringing him the dead Huggy so that he can use him. Or maybe 1006 is just looking there, you know, looking at, ooh, a new toy for me to use. Either way, it could be 1006 or this could be Bron. At this moment in time. We just have eyes, so we don't really know. But yeah, it's very, very interesting either way. Now we also got, aside from this image, we also got a audio file. Now this audio file, I don't think contains anything secret. I have done all the usual. I've run it for a spectrogram. There wasn't anything there. I've played it backwards. I've slowed it down, sped it up, done all the usual stuff. I don't believe there's any hidden meaning in here, but if there is, I've just missed it. But we have this audio file. I'll play it for you. It's kind of creepy. Kind of does sound like a children's show, which again, in my brain, I'm currently thinking, again, is this a reference to Barney? I don't, listen, I know it might sound silly, the Barney idea, okay? But Mob and Poppy Playtime has referenced so many things. I'm actually going to make a video about this at some point. I'm adding it to my list of videos I need to make because there are so many references from Poppy Playtime. There are so many things that are hints or references or you know, inspired by other things, including Portal, including real life TV shows, real life companies. There are so many. Almost feels like Poppy Playtime at this point is a alternate reality kind of thing. But yeah, there's definitely a chance that this is something. And the more that I look at this image, it just doesn't look like a bird's leg to me now that I've brightened it up again. It looks too chunky, too strong to be a bird, but again, it could be. Just one thing I also wanted to mention as well is we've had so many hints about the eyes. Remember we talked about this in my last video? Everything lately has been eyes. The eyes could also be a hint to a bird, you know, bird's eye, right? It could be, but also I think these eyes are important. And I don't know, man. Again, either these eyes belong to Bron and Bron is going to be the big bad, like I said a long time ago, or this is one more closer hint to 1006. Either way, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Tell me what you think about this video. Tell me what you think about this little cool image. I will say this image looks incredibly vicious. I'm very excited to see what this enemy is. I can't wait. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.